Sorry, dude.
He's trying to grow it, just like you. Yeah, now that she's doing And where's your new appointment? Oh, okay, I'm standing in 7 Club, and I just was standing by the sun because I thought he was and I don't like to walk around. So I'm standing there, and I'm seeing you. Every other person I know. So I'm like, how can you be your beer? I said, no, he's coming in. You know, I know after what they really you know, because I have like that job.
There's still some seats in the front if you'd like to come forward. All row of seats up here on the front right of the party. I guess we'll get started. We're a couple of minutes early, but we have a huge agenda tonight, and we're very pleased to have each and every one of you with us tonight. This is always a big meeting and a fun meeting as we have our administrative assignments, teacher of the year, classified employee of the year. This is a great meeting, and it's good to see each and every one of you here this evening. We are going to start our evening with a musical number. A vocalist, Cassie Schul from Fremont High School. Her accompanist will be Carissa Skeet. And after Cassie has finished singing to us, she will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Cassie.
I'm Cassie Schul from Fremont High School, and I will sing Boy Que Sapete from The Marriage of Figaro by Mozart. please rise and recite your Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have another round of applause for Cassie. That was wonderful. Our first agenda item is our consent calendar. Board, have you had an opportunity to go over the consent calendar? And if so, do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Doug Hirsch.
Second.
Second by John Ritchie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now we're going to start with our recognitions. This is a great night for recognitions, and we will turn the time over to Jenny Ann Kemmeyer.
This is a fun evening, a really exciting evening for many, many different reasons, and it is my pleasure to get to present the Weaver School District Teacher of the Year. Nina Doxey, would you please join me? I'll tell you, this is an amazing, amazing woman, and so deserving of this wonderful award. I had the pleasure of being able to attend when Nina was told that she would be the Teacher of the Year, and it was a very special moment in time. I'll tell you what, this is a very humble teacher, and her students adore her completely and fully, and it was very evident that evening. Or that morning, it actually was a morning, not evening, it's an evening now. Anyway, so that morning was a fabulous time. Let me tell you a couple of things though, because some of these pictures are evident. You can see Dr. Stevens first, telling her that she is the Teacher of the Year, and here's this beautiful teacher smiling. And then as the line went through, the kids let all of the adults go through the line, and then you can see this circle of hug of their beloved teacher. And then Dr. Stevens, while this line was going through, in his wisdom, found a couple of students and asked them if they knew of a song that they could sing to their teacher, because this is a choir class. And they quickly scrambled off to the choir sheet music closet, and they found the most perfect song, and it's the Prayer of the Children. And those students sang that song, and if you can imagine, there wasn't a dry eye in the room, but this genuine, heartfelt song sung by these students to their wonderful teacher that they adored. It was a fabulous moment, and I'm so appreciative of being able to be there, because you felt that love that they have for Miss Doxey. Can you turn it to the next slide for me, please? You can see that she is a music educator and has been at Roy High School for 16 years. She teaches choir and then also performing arts, and an AP music teacher. And on your form it also said theater tech. Yeah. So it sounds like she covers everything. And one of the things that her students said to me is that she puts in so much time. She sings in the choir, in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and then she comes here and she spends hours. Sometimes you will see her at 5 o'clock in the morning here at school, and she doesn't go home until late at night because she's working to prepare to help her students be successful in so many ways. And they have a wonderful production that she has a dress rehearsal tonight that she moved to 7 o'clock tonight, and then they start performing starting tomorrow. So they're a busy group. And what a wonderful teacher they have at the head. I want to tell you that this bottom right corner picture is last week at the dinner where Tony DeVino invites all of the nominees for the Teacher of the Year and Classified of the Year to a dinner. And he hosts that. Well, our students were the ones that were invited to do a performance that evening. And And one of the students, after the end of their performance, which was fabulous, said about their teacher, because nobody knew at that point in time that she was going to be named the Teacher of the Year, but they said, our teacher doesn't like the attention. Is that correct? In fact, she said that their teacher reported to them saying that Ms. Doxey said, as a teacher, you should let the kids do the shining for you. And I think that speaks so much with the way she approaches teaching. I always love talking with students, and so I had the pleasure of interviewing 3 kids, and Aubrey happened to say to you that you have been one of the most caring teachers that she has ever had, and the choir is a safe haven for her. Spencer said, Miss Doxey is amazing. She pushes us out of our comfort zone and then pushes you to reach your potential. She also helped him find some scholarships for him to be able to go on to school. Brittany, who is your choir president, I believe, said that there are so many things that set Ms. Doxey apart from the others. She puts so much effort into making everyone feel special. She has helped with me finding scholarships. She knows that every student, and she understands where they are coming from. She has been known to say about a struggling student that they need more love. She looks at and beyond the surface to truly understand each of her students. She puts so much time into helping us be successful. Now, what was really fascinating is that I visited with these students, and then I came back and I started to read your nomination letter from Principal Gina Butters. And it was amazing because they all said the same thing over and over again about the same kind of wonderful things about you. So I would like to kind of close with Principal Butters' comments in this letter. As she closed her letter, it says, "It is my great privilege to nominate Nina Doxey for this prestigious award. The incredible mark she has made in the very culture of our school and community across 16 years span of time is intangible proof of her singular influence and expertise. Nina Doxey looks for the good in others, speaks only kind words, carries herself with poise, and helps her students discover and embrace their sacred worth. She is our Teacher of the Year every year. Board, it is my pleasure to present to you Nina Doxey, the Teacher of the Year." Would you please introduce those that are here with you tonight? Have them stand up and just, all you have to do is down here.
I went to a lot of my school here, and I appreciate that. And very much my sweet daughter, one of my daughters, is able to come, Lindsay.
Stand up, please.
And she's a darling mother and singer also. They had to sing. They wanted to live at our house. And then my father, Mr. Drube, he's a retired educator. And he's where I get my kindness. He loves everyone, and everywhere we go, people are saying, "Mr. Drube, you taught me in 5th grade. Do you recognize me?" And usually, people look a lot different than 5th grade. So, and my dear husband waits patiently hour after hour. So he's here, and thank all of you who came tonight. Thank you so much. It's my honor and privilege to teach. And I just love the kids and love who I associate and work with. It's just a great privilege to be in education. And these kids that are coming up are our future, and it's wonderful to feel secure about it with all these wonderful students. Thank you.
I want to say one more thing before I let Nina go, because it is, Tony Davino is usually here on this evening to present to you a nice check. but he's unable to be here, but I wanted to make sure and recognize him and all he contributes to Weaver School District. Thank you so much.
Let's have a round of applause for I'll now turn the time over to Reed News.
Thanks, President Richardson. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce the Weaver District 2016 Semi-Classified Employee of the Year, Justin Mock. Come on up, Justin. Justin is our lead worker on the plumbing crew and maintenance. And this is an outstanding, I'm going to call him a young man. I've never called anybody that. I'm getting up there, so I can call somebody young. He's just a great individual. One of the things that is incredible about this district is the people that work here. You saw the windstorm that we had, and we've got such incredible people that just get everything in shape and ready for our students. And Justin is a model employee in that regard. Go to the next slide, Trent, will you? I've got some pictures here, and they're dark. I'm going to turn down the lights just a little bit. There, you can kind of see that. Now, you can see where Justin goes every day. That's why you don't see him much. This was his quote: "I love to be able to create the environment our children learn in and hope others feel the same." Isn't that a great approach? And it typifies Justin. I'm going to leave this up here for a minute, and then I'll read some of the things. Let's go to the next slide, Trent. Now, I put on here the man, the myth, the legend, the whole. Now, I'm going to give you an example that Brian Smith, who Brian is retiring this year, been a phenomenal supervisor of maintenance for us. He is an expert, and he knows a great employee when he sees one. Justin, he related this situation to me. Some few weeks ago, we had a water main break up at UNA Elementary, and it was Sunday night, and they went up, and Justin was with them. He was called in by Brian, and the way that it worked is the water main went in and came right up to the footings and foundation, and it went under that, and the leak was on the other side between the foundation and the building. So Justin went down in there and dove under the foundation and fixed the break that was an elbow. And, you know, Brian said it was a very difficult job. They had to call Great Western Plumbing to come up with their parts because they didn't even know what they needed for sure. And they came up with the parts, and Justin just gets down there. Do you have a diving mask, or was that just holding you back? He comes from a very athletic family, so I know he can move. And evidently can swim, too. Anyways, Justin is an outstanding employee. Brian had some other words. Well, let me read Troy Baker. Troy's our plumbing foreman, and he said a few things on Justin: dependable, self-motivated, respected throughout the district, and hard worker. The difference Justin has made in the plumbing department: he's willing to help out wherever needed without complaint, keeps the co-workers motivated, and helps out where needed. Taking on other assignments than plumbing. In our schools, there isn't anybody that doesn't have multiple assignments. You know, we do what we have to do to get it done, and Justin is a model of that. First to jump in a big muddy hole to repair an emergency line break. Brian put it best when he said, he related this little story. He said, I recently had a discussion with a plumber we hired about 2 years ago that has been very happy working for Weaver School District. My question for him was, are you happy to be working for the district? And the second question was, why did he want to work for us? His reply was, the reason I came here was I worked with Justin for about a year. When I found out we were both working for a when we were both working for a plumbing contractor about 10 years ago, and when I found out this opening and knew he was working here, I wanted the opportunity to learn more about the plumbing trade, working with him, and to be around his positive attitude again. Brian goes on to say, I don't believe I've ever received that answer from a question before. I've asked the question a lot throughout the years. That tells you about the impact Justin Mott makes. Congratulations, Justin.
Standing, if she doesn't mind just kind of standing and waving. My wife, I got 4 kids over there somewhere hiding in the corner.
Let's get up on those chairs. We got to show those.
Yeah, we need to see those, right? Anyway, I love my family. Anyway, my oldest is Kendall down there. She's 10. We go down from there. I got a 4th grader and a 2nd grader, but I love them. Thank you for coming, supporting me, and I love you guys. Thank you. Deeply honored and touched by this. This little hole that we're in here, Brian Smith and I suffer from the same disease. I don't know what it's called. It's golfitis, for whatever it is. But that happened on Masters Sunday. And if anybody knows me, I love to watch the Masters, and I know he does too. So that was kind of fun, and that was difficult, Brian. That was back nine in Masters Sunday. If anybody knows golf, that's the time of year you want to be watching. But I want to thank my bosses, Troy Baker, Brian Smith, especially. I wouldn't be here today without you guys. I appreciate it. Brian is getting ready to retire. We're gonna miss you. You've been a great man. Thank you. One last thing, I don't know who put it up on the wall at WIC, but it's been my favorite quote, and my wife will tell you this for probably the last year or so, I don't know, 6 months, hell, however long WIC been around, but I call it the 4 B's, and I don't know if Reed, you had something to do with that or who, but it says to be nice, to be ready, to be where you're supposed to be, and be doing what you should be doing. And I think that exemplifies what a great employee is and what a great person is also. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
As Justin's going through time, we want to recognize Tony Davino, an outstanding partner, and we appreciate Tony.
Stand on the chair and not
Okay. And this little guy's making fun of me. Okay, now everybody can make a crazy face.
It's like my dad's Monica.
Let's have another show of appreciation for that. We have now moved to our agenda where we will be discussing having action items. The first item on the agenda is approval of revised policy 4370, graduation requirements, on second reading. We'll turn the time over to Lori Rasmussen.
First of all, I want to congratulate the Teacher of the Year and Classified Employee of the Year. It's kind of hard to get up and follow such an act. You guys are welcome if you don't want to stay for this part of board meeting. Can they be excused? Okay. Well, kind of along those lines, before we get right to the policy 4370, I just want to take a minute and thank the board and Superintendent Stevens and all the high school principals and people involved with this 24 credit diploma. It's been a great benefit, I think. We'll give those guys a minute to clear out. So anyways, we wanted to thank the board and thank Superintendent Stevens, and like I mentioned, the high school principals that have jumped on board with this offering of a 24 credit diploma. It's, you know, we appreciate that you guys took that and just was able to kind of get that going for our students. So having said that, we had the first reading of policy 4370 last board meeting. And since that time, I've received very positive feedback from everybody. So, board, do you have any questions about that?
Board, do I have a motion to approve policy 4370, graduation requirements, on a second reading? Moved. Second. Dean, second. All in favor? Any discussion? Pardon me, I should ask. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I think that finished that motion. We'll get our ducks in order.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Lori. We'll turn the time now over to Robert Peterson for approval of an internal auditor.
Thanks, President. In compliance with state statute, districts our size have the either have an internal auditor or on staff or contract with an internal auditor. And working with the board's audit committee, we went through an RFP process, and the committee has selected Percy, Bowler, Taylor, and Kern, PBTK, as the contract with for our internal audit services. And we'll be putting together a program with them, and I think it will be actually beneficial to the district as it helps improve our operations and going forward. And we ask that you approve this appointment. It's the recommendation from the audit committee. And also we have with us our main contact person, Thomas Green. Is Thomas here?
Just step down.
Was here.
Oh, he's coming.
Here he is. Thomas, I just said you were here. Now you are. And so we'll get to know them a lot in the coming months, and we hope to have a good relationship with them. And that's what I have.
Board, do I have a motion to approve the internal auditing of PBTK?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We will now turn the time over to Cammie Alexander to present our board study proposal for recommendations on our boundary adjustments in the North Ogden area.
Thank you, Board and Superintendent. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. In November, we opened a boundary study in the North Ogden area in order to look at ways that we might reduce the number of students in overcrowding at Majestic Elementary. Most of you know by now that there are well over 1,007 students at their school right now. And as I was there the other day, they were registering more students. So a boundary study was opened. We put together a district level boundary study committee. Schools, Loma View Elementary, Majestic Elementary, and North Ogden Elementary also put together a school level boundary study committee. And during this process, we looked at possible ways we could ease that overcrowding at Majestic, and came up with the two proposals that were presented to you, and I believe they're in the board packet. They were mailed to you earlier. Policy 4151 was followed throughout that process. After two proposals were put together, we went to the public in an open forum, open house, and asked for some input, and you also received a compilation of that input for both proposals. So at this time, we would ask the board to consider the two proposals and make a recommendation. Do you have any questions?
Board, do I have a recommendation from the board for one or the other of the two proposals?
I make a motion to accept proposal number one.
Go ahead and tell us your reasoning. And
the reason I chose proposal number one is it makes a modest, eases modestly the number of students at Majestic. It moves some students to North Ogden Elementary, which is underutilized right now. So I think we will help the students by moving them to a school that isn't quite as crowded. It affects the least number of families in making the boundary changes. There was another proposal, but it affected more families in changing schools, and our hope is that we can pass a bond within a year or two and build another elementary school to handle more of the students in this area. So within 2 to 3 years, hopefully we'll have another elementary school will have to look at boundary changes, boundary situation at that time, and we'll have a new school to work with instead of changing things right now. It transfers about 82 students to North Ogden Elementary. Some of those students are involved in the dual immersion program at Majestic. They will probably stay at Majestic because of that program, but it will give us a year or two of relief from Majestic Elementary. And it will also help with overcrowding at Orion Junior High School in the future. We are preparing for more students to attend North Ogden Junior High by doing some remodeling and fixing up the school there and handling the additional students. So with that said, I'd like to thank all of the people that were involved in the process. It was a long process. We had very dedicated people who brought opinions to the table that we considered and tried to take and do the right thing. We appreciate the time and effort that was spent not only by the public and the people who live in those areas, but by Tammy and the people from the district office that put all together. So once again, Board, I make a motion that we approve proposal number 1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I would just want to reiterate what Board Member Owen has said, in polling people in my area who will be affected by the boundary change. I was really happy to hear that they understood and that it was a positive, happy change for them, as he said, minimizing the effect on people and looking forward to within a year or so when we can long-term remedy the overcrowding we're seeing. But for the time being, it seemed to be, people seem to be happy with the decision or what had been arrived at for the short-term fix. And I too am very grateful for the public input and for the district hard work that's gone into this planning and analyzing. And I'm just very grateful to be associated with the community and with a district that can work together so well.
Thank you, Board Member Christensen. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for your work and your collaborative effort on everyone's part, and for the, what do I want to say? The controlling of emotions. Because school boundaries are always an emotional situation. We'll now turn the time over to Dr. Stevens for our 2016-2017 administrative appointments. That's why you are all still here after we got rid of the other. Went through all the other nice things. We'll try to plan this in the future to always have the best at the last so that everyone stays. Anyway.
Thank you, President. First of all, I'll preface this with we are seeing retirements from 4 long-term serving educators and leaders: Dave Brooks, Del Pfister, Marilyn Ernolfson, and Mike Gauman. And before we make changes and begin to look at the future and feel the excitement and energy of those things, I want to pay tribute to those individuals. I've had a chance to work with each of those for a number of years, and they're quality people, and they have dedicated so much of their lives to this school district and to children, and we wish them the very best in their retirement. Board, I'm going to go through the appointments and advancements, and then we'll later come back through and introduce and explain where recommended placements will be. From technology supervisor to technology director would recommend Lynn Raymond. From junior high principal to technology supervisor, Nick Harris. From student services director to special education executive director, Lori Rasmussen. From high school principal to student services director, Gina Butters. From elementary principal to director of facilities and operations, Scott Zellner. From junior high principal to high school principal, Kurt Swalberg. From acting principal at Canyon View to principal at Canyon View, Jennifer Warren. From high school assistant principal to junior high principal, Chris Ernest and Matt Williams. From secondary intern to high school assistant principal, Brock Mitchell. From elementary intern to elementary principal, Mike Fazio and Ann Holdaway. From our new secondary interns, Ben Prawl and Nicole Warren Dolman. And our new elementary interns, Brent Hogan and Michelle Strick.
Thank you, Superintendent. Board, do I have a motion to approve these administrative assignments?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? This is your last chance. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will turn the time back to Dr. Stevens for some introductions.
Great. As I introduce, I'm only going to introduce those who are getting an advancement. Others, I think, that might be a lateral transfer. You've had an opportunity in the past board meeting to introduce, and so I just want to make that preface. With the retirement of Dave Brooks, currently serving as Executive Director of Technology, we've recommended the position of Director of Technology be filled by Lynn Raymond. Lynn, if you want to come up, and maybe we can just get the microphone a little closer here. We can just do a handoff as Lynn's coming up. Lynn has a bachelor's degree in biology, PE, and Japanese. 24 years in education, all in Weaver School District, taught biology, math, science, PE. He served in a number of administrative positions, including at Fremont, Orion. The last 10 years, he's been a district technology supervisor and media supervisor. Lynn and his wife, Sherry, have 4 children and 1 grandchild. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Superintendent Stevens and the board for this opportunity, for Reed and Jane Ann. Worked with them for years, but most of all, Dave Brooks. I've worked with him closely for 10 years. I'm excited to continue the precedents that he has set and what he's done in technology for Weaver School District. My family couldn't make it tonight, but I do want to thank them for all of the support and the many hours that they sacrificed for me to be here. So thank you and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Creates an opening for the technology supervisor, and we've recommended Nick Harris. Nick, welcome. Come on up. Nick has a bachelor's degree in English and chemistry, master's in English literature. He's been in education 14 years, 13 of those in Weaver School District. While here, he's taught English, biology, and creative writing. He's done his internship at Fremont High, assistant principal at Roy Jr. and Roy High. Currently, Nick is the principal at Orion, where just last month he was recognized by the Huntsman family as the outstanding junior high principal in the state of Utah and awarded $10,000, of which his children have told me they're going to Hawaii. So Nick and his wife Stacy, and Stacy teaches for us also, have 4 children. Nick?
Thank you, board and superintendent. I appreciate that. And I do want to introduce my family, and Parker and Anna and Charlie and Grace, and my awesome wife, and she is an excellent teacher at WIC. And then also my sister-in-law, Shelly, who's here getting hours for her admin certificate and to support me. But I do really appreciate what Lynn and Dave have done, and I hope to keep that up. They're big shoes to fill. So thank you very much. Thank you.
That creates an opening for the principal at Orion Junior High, and we have recommended Chris Ernest. Chris, if you want to come forward. Chris has her bachelor's degree from Weber State, master's in administration from Grand Canyon University. Chris has been with our district for 25 years. She's taught health and PE. She's been an assistant principal at Sandridge and Bonneville. She enjoys camping, riding ATVs, and spending time with family. Chris, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Board. I was really shocked when Art and Bill came over. I don't think I've really grasped this yet. I've got huge shoes to fill in taking Nick's place, and I'm really excited to be at Orion and to work with Christy Haas. I've worked with some great people, some mentors who are no longer here in our district, many who are right here in this room. I want to thank my Bonneville team with Larry and Jay and Brock. What 3 awesome guys to spend a year with working, and I'm going to miss you guys like crazy. Larry, it was great to work with him again a second time, and I've learned a lot from him, and I really appreciate him, and I appreciate this opportunity to move on. So thank you.
This creates an opening for an assistant principal at Bonneville High School, and we've recommended Brock Mitchell. Brock is currently the intern at Bonneville High School. Brock has his bachelor's and master's of education from UNLV, 12 years in education, 7 of those in the Weber School District. Brock was an outstanding math teacher, also coached volleyball. He and his wife, Alicia. Alicia is assistant principal at T.H. Bell, another outstanding educator in our district. Brock and Alicia have a 9-year-old daughter, Abby.
Superintendent, Board, I appreciate the opportunity to remain at Bonneville. It's a place that I've grown to love. It's fantastic faculty staff. My wife, Alicia, I want to just tell her how appreciative I am of her. It's interesting having 2 administrators in the same household. We see each other at company meetings. So, it's nice every once in a while. Our 9-year-old wanted to be at a friend's birthday party, so she couldn't make it tonight. I don't blame her for that. But the opportunity to work with Larry and Jay longer, have to follow Chris. She's amazing at what she does. And then to welcome Jamie. I want to enjoy that opportunity. But Bonneville's fantastic. I'm so looking forward to it, and I truly appreciate the opportunity.
With the retirement of Marilyn Renalson, currently serving as Director of Special Education, we've recommended the position of Executive Director of Special Education be filled by Lori Rasmussen. Lori, if you want to come up. Lori has her bachelor's degree in elementary education. She has 2 master's degrees, one in curriculum, instruction, and technology, the other in educational supervision and leadership. Lori has taught in various grades throughout elementary school, also worked as a reading specialist, one of our original reading specialists working with children who struggle in reading. She's been principal at Pioneer and Washington Terrace. She's worked as our elementary supervisor, currently serving as Director of Student Services, where she's done an outstanding job. I'll mention that this is an appointment. Lori did an interview for this job. This is an appointment. We appreciate her great leadership, her skill set, and know that she's going to do a great job. Lori and her husband Dell have 3 children and 11 grandchildren.
Thank you, Superintendent and Board, for this opportunity, and I'm just humbled at this chance to work in special ed, and I'm very excited for that opportunity. As I look around the room, I could go on and thank so many people. There's probably not one educator in this room that hasn't helped me in some way get to where I am. So I just want to thank them. for that chance, and I'm excited for this opportunity, so thank you. I want to thank my husband Dale. He's here with me today. The kids all had comp soccer and things like that, so they couldn't make it, but I want to really thank my student services team. They were so helpful this year as I stepped in, and it was amazing to work with them. We built some good relationships, and I look forward to working with them in a cooperative partnership. So thank you so much.
That creates an opening for the Student Service Director, and we recommend Gina Butters. Gina, come on up. Gina has bachelor's degrees in exercise and sports science and psychology, master's degree in education from the University of Utah. Gina has been in education for 24 years, all of those in the Weaver School District. She's taught psychology, sports psychology, PE, coached girls basketball. She interned at Roy High, assistant principal at Roy High and Bonneville, principal at North Ogden Junior High, currently principal at Roy High School. Several years ago, Gina also was a recipient of the Huntsman Award for the Outstanding High School Principal in the state of Utah. And Gina has really been the driving force in so many ways in what has come to be known as the Roy Cohn Project. In fact, there's a tremendous article in today's paper about that. And that initiative is now having a statewide impact. We have appreciated Gina's leadership in that Roy Cohn, and I know that she'll be missed, but we know that we've put together a team that will sustain that momentum and keep it going forward. Gina?
My heart is very full tonight, so I hope I can get through this and sound somewhat articulate. Dr. Stevens, sir, thank you. His faith in me has sustained me through some pretty difficult times in a 24-year career, and I thank you very much. And board, thank you very much for this vote of confidence. Reed and Jane Ann as well. Art, Bill, thank you for all of your support. First of all, I want to tell the student services team and the whole staff how excited I am to work with our 4 coordinators especially. I can't think of 4 people that are better equipped to help kids. So Karen and Dave and Sarah and Jan were off to a great adventure. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Lori Rasmussen. Lori, we're going to wear a little different hats, but we're going to be working on behalf of our most fragile kids, and I'm really excited about that. I'm going to have a difficult time leading Roy High, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but I have some really beloved people in the room here. You can't spend 6 years of time in that place without just absolutely falling in love with everything about it. It's been an ultra important place for me in my life. The people in it I shall not forget. They've impacted me in so many different ways, and I'm so excited to see where Kurt and his great team are going to take that school. What a fantastic group, and they're going to do a wonderful job. I have every confidence in them. Matt, DA, I call him, but I won't tell you what that stands for, but DA, Clyde, Jamie, you best the best. I worked with some wonderful assistants, Nick and I could go on, and Alicia, but I'm going to shut up now and sit down and just tell you how wonderful this opportunity is for me, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'll work very hard.
That creates an opening for the principal at Roy High School, and we've recommended Kurt Swalberg. Kurt, if you want to come up. Kurt is currently serving as the principal at Roy Junior High School. He has a bachelor's degree from Weaver State, a master's from Grand Canyon, and his administrative endorsement from Utah State. Kurt has been in education for 17 years, all with Weaver School District. Kurt taught 6th grade at Riverdale Elementary and Midland Elementary Schools. He's done his administrative internship at Bonneville and Freedom. Principal at Valley View Elementary, Orion Junior High, and Roy Junior High School. That is a unique thing to find a person that has that sort of range and capacity to have served as a principal at all 3 levels, and that speaks to his leadership. Kurt and his wife have 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys.
Well, I just want to first of all thank you, Superintendent Stevens, and Board. I thank you for this wonderful honor. I got to tell you, I'm overwhelmed. As you heard Gina talk, you know, it's Roy High is a wonderful place. I spent most of my career in the Roy area, and I love the people of Roy. They are fantastic people. They just have, it's hard to explain until you've been there, just what wonderful people are there, and their kindness and goodness. So I just feel so lucky to be able to stay in the Cone and to be able to work with such a great team. I'm excited for my new team. I love Roy Junior High as well, and I love the people that are there and the kids mostly. It's all about the kids and what we do, and I look forward to that. The nice thing about going to Roy High is I figure I probably know about 40% at least, 40-50% of the students already, and so it's going to be a treat to be able to go back and work with them, you know, and to be able to tell the ones I have issues, and hey, you can't get rid of me. I'm following you wherever you go. Like Superintendent said, I've had the opportunity to, some of these kids, I've been their elementary principal, their junior high principal, and now I'll be their high school principal. So, for good or bad, that's what they get. But I am very excited about this opportunity. I'd just like to thank Heather at Roy Jr. She's been my rock there and helping me, and I want to thank my lovely wife, Emily, and my 2 kids that are here. I have 4 kids, the other 2 are out and about, but Haley and Grady, I love my family. They're just awesome. But just looking so forward to this wonderful opportunity, and besides, I have the Teacher of the Year, so what else do I need? So.
When Kurt says about knowing every student and knowing 40% in his office, Kurt and Heather, there's a wall with a picture of every student at Roy Junior High, and they know everyone. And so I'm going to tell Brian and Dale and others, we better make sure we've got a wall big enough at Roy High, because I'll bet the principal's going to want a picture of every student so we get to know them. That creates an opening for the principal at Roy Junior High, and we've recommended Matt Williams. Matt, come on up. Matt has his degree from Utah State University, 20 years in education, all with Weaver School District. Matt taught in the Youth in Custody program. He's been an athletic director, coached football and girls basketball, all at Bonneville. I'm going to tell you that in our family, Dub is his name. He's coached all 3 of my boys, and I've told him this before, my boys would walk through fire for Dub. They love him. He's been assistant principal at Rocky Mountain and Roy High School. He and his wife, Christy, have 4 children.
I'd like to, first of all, thank Superintendent Stevens for this opportunity. I'm humbled for it and excited for it at the same time, so thank you. Board, thank you for this opportunity and your faith in me to lead a school. Just to defend myself, DA stands for District Attorney. and always, Gina forgot to introduce her wonderful parents that are here. So Gina, yeah. So that's what I do. I follow Gina around and kind of help her out. My sweet wife is here, Christy, who also teaches, and Josie. I've got four children. Josie's here, so she says now she's my favorite child because she came. My oldest is a senior. I got trumped by a date, so she's on a date right now. I'm just excited to take over this new opportunity. We've had a wonderful run at Roy High School, and the team that we have, I'm a little bit partial to them. I call them the all-star team, and it's hard to leave Roy High School. And just the wonderful people that you work with and those relationships that you create. Even though Kurt's a little bit smaller than me, I've got big shoes to fill at Roy Jr., so I look forward to working with Heather and Kurt in this Roy Cone project that continues with wonderful things for kids. So I appreciate this opportunity and thank you.
This creates an opening for an assistant principal at Roy High School. We've recommended Darlene San Giorgio. Now I want to say something about Darlene. Darlene is currently the principal at Valley View Elementary, and she has made a request to to return to secondary schools. Darlene started her career teaching at Weber High School, and she was a remarkable CTE teacher. I was in her classroom, not as a student. I was visiting her. I visited her classroom, and she did extraordinary things. And I think it's a tremendous tribute to Darlene. She wants to get back into the secondary system. Cammie was very reluctant to let her go. Art was very eager to accept her. And, you know, one other thing is I talk about some of these replacements. Notice Roy Cohn is staying inside the Roy Cohn. That was purposeful because we want to sustain the momentum of the incredible things that are happening in that cone. Thank you, Darlene. This creates an opening for the principal at Valley View, and we've recommended Ann Holdaway. Ann, do you want to come up, please? Ann has her bachelor's degree in elementary education, ESL, reading endorsement, 20 years in education. She's been a classroom teacher at Horace Mann Elementary, Club Heights, in West Haven. She has been an elementary intern at both Roy and Green Acres. She's married to David. They have 5 children and 6 grandchildren.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens, and members of the board. Thank you very much. I'm excited for this, and I appreciate your support. There's a bunch of people I need to thank in here, and 2 of them, I see Shelley Roberts, and I'd like to thank Shelley, and Lisa Gilstrap. That's where I did my interning, so it helped bring me along. And also my dad is here, and my mom, and my husband, David, and I'd like to thank them because without them, I truly wouldn't be here. So thank you very much. And Darlene, big shoes you've left me to fill, but thank you.
Board, if I could just take a moment of personal privilege. Ann's father has been a role model for me and had as great an influence personally on my life as almost any. Ted is a former principal at both Bonneville and Weber High School. Ted's wife is also here. 22 years ago, Jan, if you can imagine it's been that long, Jan was serving as principal at Roy High School and took a chance on a brand new intern. And Jan, it's just wonderful to see you and Ted. Welcome both of you.
Dr. Steve, Ted and stand.
Ted and Jan, would you stand? Give him a hand.
I'm going to take a little personal liberty here too, because I taught 1 year way back when, and it was at the invitation of Ted Campbell to teach at Weber High, teach an electronics class. So, Ted, thank you.
I know that Jan was the first female high school principal in our district. Was it in the state also? Or just in our district?
I was second.
Second female high school principal in the state. First female high school principal in our district. And she was an outstanding. That was at Roy High. Go Royals. Let's see. With the retirement of Del Pfister, currently serving as Executive Director of Facilities and Operations, we recommended the position of Director of Facilities and Operations be filled by Scott Zellner. Scott, come on up. Scott has his bachelor's degree from Weber State, master's from Utah State, and his administrative endorsement also from Utah State. He spent 5 years in youth corrections as a counselor, 28 years in education, 24 of those in Weber School District. He taught at Canyon View. Scott was also one of those very first interns 22 years ago. He's been administrative intern at Weber High, assistant principal at Walquist, principal at Far West, Roosevelt. He was our district supervisor over assessment and boundaries. Currently, did you miss the boundary thing as we were going through that process?
It's really sad not to be part of that.
And currently principal at Kingsville. Scott and his wife Robin, and Robin is a teacher for us. Welcome, Robin. Have 2 children.
Dr. Stevens, thank you. Board, thank you so much for this opportunity. I've been doing this a long time, and you never quite know where the trail's going to lead. This is not a spot that I had foreseen, and it is one I'm excited about. 5 years ago, when I left the district office and went to Kingsville, wasn't sure where life was taking me. But Kingsville is a pretty good place, and by the way, thank you for that opportunity. K-Town rocks, if anybody knows that. If they don't, y'all do. Everybody ought to be there at least once. But the people there have been wonderful to me, and they've allowed me to grow and to be reminded about what really matters in education. You know, I've talked in different situations about education being an upside-down pyramid. And at the top of that pyramid is a whole bunch of kids. And right next to those kids are teachers and cooks and aides and people who touch the lives of kids every day. And those of us who move away from that level have a tremendous responsibility to keep the pyramid in balance. Because when we do things that put it out of balance, those teachers are still at the top fighting against it, keeping the kids in balance. And so the things that we do every day make a difference in how teachers are able to do their jobs. And so as I move forward into this position, I'm thrilled with the opportunity to work with Reed and Dell. Thank you very much for all that you've done. I want to spend some time with you before you go off into the sunset. But I want to reiterate what Justin said. Justin's obviously one of the rock stars of the department that I'm going to get to be a part of. But he commented, and we talked the board about how important it's really all about making it better for the kids. And that's the goal that every person in this district has, and I'm looking forward to continue to work within this department to make it better for kids in our schools. Dr. Stevens, thank you.
An opening for the principal at Cainville, and we've recommended Justin Willie. If I might just say something about Justin, this is a lateral move. Currently, Justin is principal at Marlon Hills. And Justin's had a unique experience this year in the sense that this is the final year of Marlon Hills, and sometimes that can create some anxiety among teachers, students, community. And Justin has been a steady leader. And Justin, we appreciate very much what you've done at Marlon Hills, and I know that Cainville will benefit from your experience. Thank you. We've recommended that we move Jennifer Warren from interim principal at Canyon View to principal at Canyon View. Jennifer, do you want to come up, please? Jennifer has her bachelor's degree in early child elementary and special education, a master's degree in school counseling. She's been in education for 17 years, all of those in the Weber School District. Jennifer taught special education for 10 years at Bonneville. She's been a district office education coordinator for 6 years, and almost on a spur of the moment, because of some things that transpired, was appointed interim principal at Canyon View. Canyon View is a special needs school. The range of those children that are attending there is remarkable. And Jennifer came in what could have been a difficult situation all across the board and just did an extraordinary job. Jennifer, congratulations on this.
Thank you very much.
One other thing, Jennifer's married to our former Teacher of the Year, Preston Warren, who teaches AP Lit at Bonneville High School. And I think kids are working hard for an AP test real quick, right? Today. Oh.
Well, thank you. I would just like to thank you again for the opportunity I've had this year to be at Canyon View, and I appreciate the continued opportunity and the vote of confidence from Dr. Stevens and the board. It's been a great experience. I'm excited to continue that, and I just need to thank those people who have helped me make it through this year. My husband, tolerating school, a new job, yet again. My daughter, Kennedy, and my aunt, who's also a Weber School District educator, County, and the special education team, because without that team, I wouldn't have made it. Without the late night phone calls, the emails early in the morning, I've appreciated their support and their voting confidence. confidence in me. So thank you. I appreciate this.
With the retirement of Mike Geilman, who's currently serving as principal at West Weber Elementary School, we've recommended that position be filled by Mike Fazio. Mike, you want to come up? Mike has his bachelor's degree in elementary education, a master's degree in learning and technology. 16 years in education, all in our district. He's taught 4th, 5th, and 6th grades at Hooper and Riverdale Elementary School. Mike has been an intern this year and at Far West and Majestic Elementary Schools. He's been married 21 years. He and his wife have 2 sons. Mike, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Stevens. Thank you, Board, for your vote of confidence. My wife and oldest son weren't able to be here tonight. Isaac plays baseball for Bonneville, and they're playing Ogden right now, so my wife is there with him, but my son Anthony is here. And my mom and dad came up from Carbon County. They're both educators, or former educators down there. My dad taught high school and college, and my mom worked in the district office in the special ed department, so I appreciate them coming up. And there are so many out here in the crowd that I could thank as well. There's been many of you that have helped me to get to this point in my life. I want to thank my surrogate dad back here, Dave Wallace. He and Laura Wright have had shared custody of me this year as I've done my internship between the 2 schools all year. And so I just really appreciate them. Diane and Shelley, appreciate them being here as well. And everyone who has had a hand in my role here in Weber School District. Tammy, Carla, thank you. Look forward to working with you on a more permanent basis. Thank you.
To complete some of the high school moves and with interns, we've recommended that Jamie Ellis move from Roy High School to Bonneville High School, and we appreciate her willingness to do that. She brings tremendous expertise from Roy and brings it to Bonneville, and these are neat opportunities for intern experiences to get different views and so forth. Thank you, Jamie. As new elementary interns, we recommend Brent Hogan and Michelle Stray. Let me have Brent come up first, please. Brent attended Dixie State University, Idaho State, where he played football. Did you ever play against Scott Zelmer at Weber State? He'd probably too old for that, wasn't he? Brent has been in education for 11 years. He's taught 3rd and 4th grade, also served as Title I Site Coordinator in Washington School District. He and his wife have 3 children. Brent, we welcome you to Weber School District. He's been teaching with us this past year.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens, for this opportunity. Board, thank you. I'd also like to thank Carla and Cammie. Cammie grabbed me up right away when I came up here. My wife coaches at Weber State as a track coach, and that's what moved us up north. And so we kind of came up to do a tour of the campus, and I had lined up some interviews and came in and talked with Cammie and hit it off right away. And so I'm grateful for her, and thank you, Carla, as well. I'm at Freedom Elementary right now with Diane, and it's been amazing. I've really enjoyed being back in the classroom, working with the students one-on-one. It's been awesome. I have my 3 children here. My wife is at a track meet right now at Weber, and so I have my Kepler, Bennett, and Bernay, and this is probably the best they've been in a long time. I'll begin later. But thank you for this experience and opportunity.
Thank you very much. What a great addition to the Weber School District. Thank you, Brent. And Michelle, come on up, Michelle. Michelle has her bachelor's degree in elementary education with a minor in music, her master's degree in curriculum and instruction. Michelle has been in education for 9 years, all in the Weber School District. She's taught 4th and 5th grade if you went to elementary. Currently, she's in the Chinese immersion program, helping in that model. That's an exciting model. Michelle is married to Brent Strait. Brent is a history teacher for us. Has taught at South Ogden Junior High, Bonneville High School. Brent, we welcome you. They have 7 children, ages 11 through 24. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Stevenson, Board of Education. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I promise you I'm going to work my absolute hardest at this. I'm excited. I want to thank my Uinta family for helping me. Joanne's here. And I know there are others that aren't here, but they have been awesome to work with. And not only them, but my students and parents have just made me feel such a sense of community with them. I also want to thank my family, and that would be my best friend and husband, Brent. And I have my oldest daughter, Lelena, and my youngest daughter, Elizabeth. I almost called her the wrong name. If you ever do that, here with me. And then my husband's parents are here, and I'm grateful to have them here. On a personal level, I'm just so grateful for all the people in Weber School District. We lived in 2 other districts before we moved into the Boundaries, and before we moved into the Boundaries, we had a son diagnosed with apraxia. I was pretty nervous about how to take care of this son, and Weber School District was a perfect place for us to educate him. He is doing so well. He's a high school student now, and no one would ever know that he had apraxia. And on another note, since we've got 7 kids and none of them come out the same, we have a daughter who loves to be challenged, Mr. Warren. Thank you very much. She discussed with him today, and she's going to graduate with 32 college credits, and we're pretty excited about that. So thank you so much for providing every one of you such a good education for my family. Thank you.
As a new secondary intern, we recommend Ben Kroll. Ben, come on up. Ben is also relatively new to Weber School District. We could almost say we stole him, and we're glad we did. Ben has a bachelor's degree in psychology, master's in curriculum and instruction, 8 years in education. He's taught science and chemistry. He was the secondary science curriculum supervisor for a neighboring district to the north, Davis School District. Currently, he's teaching chemistry at Bonneville High School. He is an outstanding chemistry teacher. Ben and his wife, Christy, have 3 beautiful children. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Dr. Stevens and board, for this wonderful opportunity. We're excited to begin a new chapter in our lives. I'd be remiss if I didn't also recognize my beautiful wife, Christy, and helping us corral the kids during these long board meetings. They've been troopers. Sorry, he's Lightning McQueen has taken over here the last 20 minutes or so. But I'm super excited for this opportunity. I feel I'm honored and humbled by it, and I know that there's great challenges ahead of us and great work to be done, but I'm excited to help kids. I love education, and I believe in the system, and I believe that we're in the business of helping kids become what they can become, and I'm excited to play whatever role I can in that process. Thank you.
Board, we've recommended a new internship, and for that, we're recommending Nicole Warren-Doman. As Nicole comes up, I'm going to introduce her and the internship. Nicole, come on up. We have 2 schools. I've talked briefly about one of them tonight, and that is Canyon View, and the unique needs that are involved at that school, and also our alternative high school, Two Rivers High School, and Principal Jeff Marching is here. In both of those schools, we have just a single administrator, one principal, and it puts a lot of strain on that principal to be able to meet the needs of all those children. And we've proposed this internship experience, and Nicole is a perfect fit. When I went to Art and Cammie, I said, I need someone with tremendous range. This goes from special ed preschool all the way up through our life program at Canyon View. It involves alternative high school students and everything that goes along. I've got to have someone with these kinds of skills. And both of them just smiled and said, Nicole Warren Dolman. And Nicole, we're excited to have you in this new position as kind of the pioneer of it. Nicole has her bachelor's degree in child and family studies, master's in instructional leadership. She's been with our district for 10 years, including special education life skills, a track coach, a resource English teacher, and a new teacher mentor. She and her husband Ryan have 3 children. Nicole, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens and the board, for having faith in me. And I wanted to say I'm very humbled because I know that I was in a really strong, competitive pool of people. And so it's humbling for me to have been picked up. I just want to say, though, in the interview process, one of the last things they said to us was, we don't think that there's going to be any movement this year. We don't anticipate that there'll be any open positions. We just want to let you know. And I was like, okay, well, that means that what you guys are going to do is invent a brand new position for me, right? It turns out they did. You just have to ask. So, anyway, I just want to say thank you, and thank you to everybody who has supported me and mentored me throughout the years, the people who've seen leadership in me when I haven't seen it in myself. And I plan to work my tail off, and I plan to do the best I can. And I'm excited to be the pioneer. I'm excited to be the first person to be in this new position. So, and also I just want to thank my family for being here. My beautiful daughter Paige, she's 21, and I have a 5-year-old son and a 2-year-old son, and he's very busy. And he's very, very, very busy the whole night. So, and my husband Ryan, and he is my source of support, and he's been there for me through everything, and I couldn't do it without him. So thank you.
We'd like to thank everyone that's been with us this evening to share the advancements of friends and family. We'd like to show them one more round of show of support for their new assignments. We've come to the end of our agenda, with the exception that we have the need of a closed session. As per Utah Code, this meeting is a strategy session to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of the individual. And at this point, do I have a motion to move into closed session? Seconded by Janice, moved by John. And we need a roll call vote.
Okay, Nancy Calavici, Janice Christensen, Rick Favero, Doug Hurst, Eno Moore, John Ritchie, and Trevor Richardson.
Hi. We appreciate everyone being with us this evening, and we will now adjourn our meeting for the public purpose. Thank you very much for being here tonight.